Hi friends, my name is Taylor. Welcome back to Get Your Play Online. I'm so glad that you guys are joining me today on this lovely Sunday. Last week's theme was superheroes, and this week our theme is switching over to storybook. For storybook, we're going to be focusing more on princesses and pirates this week. And for today's arts and crafts activity, we are going to make princess happy jars. Look at how cute, you guys. And so this is what we're going to be making today, and it's like a two-part activity. So of course we're going to decorate our happy jars and make them look as happy and pretty and awesome as possible. And then there's going to be some special happy notes on the inside that you can read whenever you want to feel happy. So we're going to talk more about that later, but we're going to go ahead and jump right in and start going through all the supplies we're going to need in order to make our Princess Happy Jars. So for our Princess Happy Jars, the first thing you're going to need, of course, is a jar. I have a mason jar here. If you want to use a different kind of jar, that's perfectly okay. Maybe you want to use a glass bottle, anything that's clear and see-through that you're able to paint and really make your own, and that you're able to unscrew and screw on the lid is going to work great for this activity. So make sure you have your jar. You're going to need some kind of rubbing alcohol or some kind of sanitizer. Just so we're going to spray our jars on the outside and wipe away any oils or any dirt or anything that happens to get on our jars with our rubbing alcohol. You're going to need some tape. If you don't have tape, you're also able to use glue. Hot glue, super glue, any kind of glue that's really sticky, not like the Elmer's glue, is going to work great for this, but I don't have any right now, so I'm going to be using some tape. I have paint. For this activity, you are going to need to use acrylic paint. I have two different colors in acrylic paint here today. I have red and I have white. You can use whatever colors you want to use. If you want to use one color or 10 colors, that's completely up to you. But for the sake of this activity, I'm just going to do red and white paint and make sure it's acrylic paint. And of course, anyone who knows me knows that I absolutely love glitter. Glitter, I feel like, really complements my sparkly personality. So you're going to need some glitter. I have an assortment of glitters. However, I'm just going to use one color glitter for this activity. You're going to need some paint brushes. I have two different paint brushes. I have a really thick brush and a really skinny brush, as you can see. It doesn't matter what size your paint brushes are. I personally am going to want to do little polka dots all over my Princess Happy jar, so I have a skinny brush to make my dots and a regular brush just to paint the jar. You're going to need some scissors to cut. You're going to need some yellow construction paper to make your crown for your Princess Happy jar. You're going to need a pen, and you're going to need some little post-it notes. If you don't have post-it notes, you're able to use regular old paper, printer paper, notebook paper, construction paper, whatever paper you want. Just cut it up into little squares and it'll work just as well as the post-it notes will. And then I personally have a paint tray because I'm going to squirt my paints into my little tray. If you don't have a paint tray, you're more than welcome to use a paper plate, styrofoam plate. You can use any kind of plate or bowl or anything, but I'm using a paint tray. So without further ado, now that we have all of our supplies, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to scoot my camera back and lower it so that everyone can see me better and see what I'm doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is, oh yeah, I also forgot, you're going to need paper towels. And paper towels are going to be very important for this because we're using paint and that will make a mess. So I'm first going to grab a couple of paper towels and just lay them down. And I'm going to set my jar on top. Okay? And I'm going to grab one more paper towel because I'm going to take my spray, my sanitizing alcohol spray, and I'm going to spray my jar. And I'm going to set that to the side. And I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm just going to wipe my jar dry. Great job. You guys are doing awesome. Make sure you're being careful holding the jar. Make sure you hold it at the top so that you can get a good grasp on it. And then you take your paper towel and you just dry all that off. Okay? So now that that's done, I got a little bit on my sticky note. I'm going to take that one off. Now that our jar is all done, what we're going to do is we're first going to make our crown, okay? And for our crown, what we're going to do is we're going to take I'm going to slide my jar out of the way and grab my construction paper and fold it in half, hot dog style. So the long part of our paper is what we're going to fold it in half against, so that it looks like a long hot dog. And then you're going to grab your scissors and you're going to cut it down the middle where that little crease line is. You're just going to cut right down that line. Make sure to cut slow. Take your time. It's not a race. You really want to make sure you're being careful with this part. Awesome. And now that you have that, you're only going to use one half of this, and the other half you won't need unless you're making 2 happy jars. And so for this, what we're going to do is we're going to pull our jar back out, and we're going to get some tape and have our tape ready. And you're going to first wrap it around the lid of your jar. And you're going to make sure that it's tight around your jar. And once you have that kind of measured out, what you're going to do is first we're going to need to cut off some tape. Okay. And we're going to cut off one more piece of tape, about the same size, just a little square. I'm getting this extra tape, it's so sticky. Okay, here we go. We're going to cut off the extra tape, and we are going to first, we're going to tape our first little piece of the paper, construction paper, onto the lid itself. And then we're going to wrap it around our lid as best as we can. And we are going to tape that closed. Awesome, you guys. So now you're going to grab those scissors once again, and you're going to start by first cutting. You're going to hold your scissors at an angle, and I'm going to raise my camera up a little bit so you guys can see me do this a little better. You're going to hold your scissors at an angle and cut a diagonal line right above where your tape is. And then you're going to cut from the other side another diagonal line so that you cut out a little triangle. And you're going to do that all the way around your construction paper. Cut diagonal lines so that you get a little triangle. Great job, you guys. Awesome. Keep cutting out those triangles, everyone. All the way around. And this is the last one. Awesome. So now we have our little crown. And so we just cut out little triangles to get our crown. And for me, this is the hardest part. And now that we've done this, it's just smooth sailing from here. So now that we have cut out all the stuff we need for our crown, you can go ahead and just put that trash to the side, or if you have a trash can nearby, throw it away. And I'm going to unscrew my lid, okay? And I'm just going to take my lid off and set it to the side so that we can get ready for the fun part, the painting. Who's ready to do the painting? I know I am. I'm so excited. Okay, so for the painting part, what we are going to do is we are going to get your bowl, plate, whatever it is you're using to squirt your paint into, your acrylic paint, and you're going to just open up that lid and squirt the paint in there. Now, because my jar is really big, I know it's going to take up a lot of paint, so I'm going to fill up about 3 of these little cups with my red paint. And then I'm going to take my white paint and I'm going to just fill up 1 little cup because I'm just doing little polka dots. I'm not painting the whole paper. Awesome. That should be enough paint. So I'm going to go ahead and set my paint to the side. Keep it handy nearby just in case you happen to need more paint, because the amount of paint that you're going to use is going to be based off of how big your mason jar is, okay? So because my jar is really big, like I said, I filled up 3 of these little cups, and I am going to just grab my paint and start painting. So let's get to it. Make sure you're painting your jar on top of your paper towels like I am doing, because if you're like me and you make messes, that paper towel is going to catch any paint that you may accidentally drop, or whenever you're painting down, you may get on the table, but instead the paper towel is going to catch it. So really keep that in mind whenever you're painting. Just and I'm adding multiple layers of paint onto my jar. And I'm doing this because I want it to get dark. I want a nice dark coat on here. And so because this does go on kind of thin, it takes a few layers of paint to really get it as dark as I would like it to be. If you're watching, please comment hi. I would love to know who's tuning in with me right now. So you guys are doing a fantastic job. Starting to dip into my next little cup of paint. Now, if you notice, whenever I'm painting, I'm doing single strokes, just going in the same direction, and that's because I don't want to have a whole lot of streaks on my jar. And I noticed that whenever I was practicing, whenever I would paint up and down, I really got a lot of streaks in my on my jar, and that's not what I want. So I noticed that whenever I would do just one direction, um, just paint in streak in one direction, I would get a nice, smoother, cleaner look to my jar. So that's something to take into consideration whenever you're painting these jars. Okay, so now that I think I got enough red on here, what I'm going to do right quick is I'm going to grab a glitter. And I'm going to first need something sharp to kind of get this little lid out of here. And with my glitter, while my jar is wet, this is really important. Whenever your jar, do you like the color on my jar? Thank you. I love this red color. I think it's so pretty. Now, whenever you are sprinkling glitter on your jar, you really want to make sure you get it on there while it's wet. Otherwise, your glitter won't have anything to stick to. So time is definitely of the essence whenever you are going to sprinkle glitter onto your Princess Happy jar. Look at how pretty that is. Can you guys see how sparkly mine turned out? I'm going to try to raise the camera up. I don't know if you guys are able to see, but my jar is super sparkly now and super pretty. I love it. So what I'm going to do for the last part of the painting is I'm going to go ahead and grab my skinny paintbrush. And with my skinny paintbrush, I'm going to dip it into my white paint, and I'm just going to give myself some polka dots all over. You guys are doing fantastic. I'm so excited to see how everyone's turns out. Are you guys doing polka dots like me, or maybe just a solid color on your jar? Or are you going to give your jar some pretty designs? The possibilities are endless. That's why I love painting. You can really take your time with it and make whatever you're painting your own. Make it really unique. Thank you. I like having music in the background because whenever I start getting really focused, I can get quiet sometimes. So it's fun to have some background music to help keep people entertained. So it's not as quiet. So I'm going to go ahead and start talking more about the next part of our activity. So for our next part of this activity, we are going to be writing some happy notes to ourselves. And I really enjoy this activity because it's great. It's a great self-esteem boosting activity. And I found that whenever I do this with school-age children and adolescents, it's something that they're able to really make their own, something that they can kind of write. It gives them the opportunity to write notes to themselves and then pull those notes that they'd like to read later in time. So maybe you're having a bad day, or maybe you just want a little bit of a self-esteem booster with these Princess Happy Jars, and you don't have to have the crown with it, but if you do, that's awesome. But with the Princess Happy Jars, you're able to really just boost your self-esteem, and it's notes that you write to yourself. So really encouraging yourself, uplifting yourself. It's a really empowering activity, and that's why I really like this. So for our Princess Happy Jars, what we are going to do next is grab those sticky notes. Now, if you're not using Post-it notes or sticky notes, maybe you have some kind of paper that you're using, go ahead and grab that paper and something to write with. And this is the part where we come to the self-esteem boosting part. So you're going to write notes to yourself. And this is how you're going to do it. You're going to write something really nice. So for example, what I do with these is I pull my sticky note off, and where the sticky part is on the back is where I'm going to write. So on the sticky side, I'm going to write, "You are so intelligent!" Exclamation mark. And now I'm going to fold that little sticky note up, and I'm going to drop it into my jar. And it's that simple. So you just write a bunch of super nice notes to yourself and fold it up and drop it in your jar. So another one, "You are going to be a wonderful child life specialist," because I want to be a child life specialist. And so one of these, I'm working really hard towards that goal. So it's nice to have a note to remind myself that, I'm going to be great at what I'm working hard toward. So I'm going to drop that in here. What's another great one? "Your bright light shines from the inside out." And then I'm going to fold that up, and I'm going to drop it into my jar. So I'm going to keep on with this. I'm probably going to write about 1 or 2 more. You're more than welcome to you can put 2 in here, you can put 20 in here, you can fill your jar up until it's up to the very top. But just writing happy, nice notes to yourself, reminding yourself that you are an amazing person, that you are worthy of whatever it is you are working hard toward, that one of these days you're going to be doing what you want to do. So just really encouraging yourself and reminding yourself of those little things that we don't always take the time to tell ourselves. So what's another good one? "You have a smile that lights up the world." So I'm going to write 1 more of these little happy notes, and then I'm going to be all done. So 1 more. I'm going to write, "In a world where you can be anyone, be yourself." I really like that one. In a world where you can be anyone, be yourself, because there's no one better to be than you, because you are an amazing person. And so that's how we make our Princess Happy Jars. It was super fun, super easy. We're going to screw that lid back on. And so whenever you are done making your little notes, you can write, just drop them all inside of your jar. And once your jar dries, you'll be able to pick it up and take it with you wherever you want to take it to. And whenever you feel like pulling a note out to remind yourself to be happy, You just pull one out, open it up, read it. You have a smile that lights up the world, and it's going to make you happy because it's a happy note. It's something that's supposed to make you smile. So, and once you open it up, drop it back in there so that another time when you want to read another happy note, it's in there for you. And if you want to decorate your crown, you're more than welcome to. Just do whatever it is you want to do to really make this activity yours. Just be mindful that your paint is not dry yet. It does take a little bit of time for the paint to dry. It won't take too long because we didn't rub paint on a very thick, heavy coat. But whenever you're done, you'll be able to just grab the jar, take it with you wherever, and leave a little bit of sparkle from your glitter wherever you go. So I am so glad that you guys decided to come and join me today here at Get Your Play Online to make some awesome Princess Happy jars. And I hope that these jars make you as happy as they make me. I had so much fun doing this with you guys. And make sure you keep tuning in to check out all the wonderful fun activities we have here planned for you. Until next time, have a magical day. And I hope to see you soon here this week. Bye, everyone.